In this video, we're going to do some problems with ellipses. Just as a quick summary about what an ellipse is, we have this shape here. This is defined by this equation down here, provided we're looking at an ellipse centered at the origin. So we have x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared. That tells us that the major axis is along the x-axis, minor axis is along the y-axis. A is the distance to the vertices. B is the distance to the co-vertices. C, that we get from the relationship c squared equals a squared minus b squared, is the distance to the foci. And the shape we get is obviously this ellipse or oval-like shape. If the a and b get switched, so the a is under the y now, or a squared is under y, we get this shape here. Now the major axis is along the y and the minor axis is along the x. Major means it's the biggest axis, so a here is always going to be bigger. B is the minor, so b is smaller. A nice thing to remember is the length of the major axis. The length is equal to 2 times a, and that's because it's a units to one foci plus a units, or not, a units to one vertex plus a units to the other vertex is 2a. And similarly, the minor axis has a length of 2b. And that's something that we can use to solve some questions, so it's nice to remember that. Just like the other one, C gives us the foci, and the center is still 0, 0. One other property of ellipses is they have an eccentricity, which is basically how stretched or how close to a circle they are. And eccentricity is found by dividing c, which is the distance to the foci, by a, which is the distance to the vertices. And that gives us a number that's going to be less than 1. So let's look at these examples then. We want to find the foci of the ellipse given here. We have 25 and 9, so because the bigger number is under x squared, if I were to sketch this, I know it's going to be along the x-axis here. So that tells me, well, we know the center. We should start with that. The center is 0, 0. And because there's nothing here with x and nothing here with y, so 0, 0. Because 25 is bigger than 9, it's opening along the x-axis. And now we know a squared is 25, which tells me a is 5. We know that b squared is 9, which tells me that b is equal to 3. The only other thing we need to know for an ellipse is the value of c, and we know c squared is a squared minus b squared. If we go ahead and solve that, we get c squared equals 25 minus 9, which is 16, or c is equal to 4. Now we can find all of our pieces. So we just want to find the foci. Remember, foci comes from c. The distance from the center to the foci is c. Center is 0, 0. So if we move 4 units along the major axes, we get the foci. So the foci are, well, we start here and move 4 this way and 4 that way. And we're going to find that they're 4, 0 and -4, 0. Just to identify the rest for practice, we can find the vertices here. They would be 5, 0 and -5, 0 because they come from A. A gives us the vertices. The co-vertices would be the 0, 3 and 0, -3. Notice the co-vertices, the y-coordinate change, because now I'm talking about B. I'm talking about the distance to here and distance to here. So we can find all of those from ABC. And that's essentially all the pieces that we need to find for an ellipse. Let's go ahead and do the next one, and we're going to draw this ellipse. So we'll start. We have the bigger number under y squared. That's going to tell me it's going to open along the y direction, or on the y-axis. We'll start with the center again. The center is 0, 0, because there's nothing with x, nothing with y. We have a equal to 3, and that comes from a squared equaling 9. A is always the biggest. B squared is equal to 4, which tells me B equals 2. We're going to need C to find the foci, so we usually just find that right away. C squared is equal to A squared minus B squared, or 9 minus 4, or C equals the square root of 5. So there's the values that we're going to need. The square root of 5 is a little bit bigger than 2, so we'll keep that in mind as we sketch. Because the y squared is on top of the 9, or on top of A, it tells me this is going to go up and down direction, or vertical direction. So the foci, or let's start with the vertices, they're easier. The vertices are from the center, A units in the direction it's opening, so this is y, so 1, 2, 3. So there's one vertex, and 1, 2, 3, there's the other vertex. A spaces away from the center, so that's 0, 3, and 0, minus 3. B, we have 2 spaces to the right, and 2 spaces to the left. So co-vertices are 2, 0, and minus 2, 0. The foci then is all we have left. That's up and down, so we're going to go 0, root 5, and 0, negative root 5. The key to doing these is remembering what each piece tells you. A is the vertices, B is the co-vertices, C is the foci, or are the foci. So 2 and a little bit, here's one focus. 2 and a little, there's another focus. We try to sketch this with an oval here, and we get a shape that looks like something like that. So we'll stop that video there. In the next video, we'll do another example or two using ellipses and getting the equation of the ellipse from some given data.